Amazon has really good gaming PCs, so if you're looking for a Prebuilt PC, this is going to be the right video for you. Now, if you don't mind buying from other companies, there are some better deals than some of these Amazon PCs, so I recommend you watching my video about the best Prebuilt PCs of the month. You will have that one in the top right of the screen. However, if you strictly want a PC from Amazon, you are gonna get really great deals today, and don't worry, if you're a beginner, I will explain everything as simple as possible. That way everyone can understand what these PCs are capable of running. You will have the links to all of these PCs down below in the video description. That being said, let's start. With the first one, we have the cheapest one on the list for $580 in the HP Pavilion gaming desktop. This one has the Ryzen 5 5600G and the RX 5500 for the GPU. Then you get 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of SSD. Now, this PC is not the flashiest out there. I would recommend it for 1080p low settings gaming, and if you want to play easy to run titles like Minecraft, Roblox, CSGO, or Valorant. You can also play games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA 5 depending on the settings, 60 plus FPS on average, so really solid computer to start considering it's under $600 on the Prebuilt PC market. You can also buy the same PC but used like new for $485, so that's something interesting to see if you want to save even more money. With the next one for $800 we have the Skytech Archangel gaming PC. This one has the Ryzen 5 3600 and the Nvidia RTX 3050. The RTX 3050 is a really decent 1080p GPU, so there's not a game that you can't run with this GPU, even on ultra settings. That's a nice to have, so if you want that 60 plus FPS on average experience on every single game at 1080p, this one is a nice computer. However, I would strongly recommend upgrading the RAM down the line, as it only comes with 8 gigs of RAM and 500 gigs of SSD. This is really easy to do, and if you don't have the money to do it right now, just do it later on. Now, for the same games as I mentioned before, Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5, you will be able to play these type of games on ultra settings, 60 plus FPS on average, so really good for the price of $800. You also get that front mesh panel, so great airflow for these type of components. At the end of the video, you will have a PC that's similar price to this one with much better performance. That's a bonus system, but I will explain why it's not on this list at the end. With the next one, we have the Nebula PC with the Ryzen 5 5600X and the latest RTX 4060 Ti alongside a terabyte of SSD and 16 gigs of RAM. Here you do not need to upgrade anything, and the price is going to be $1,100 after you apply the coupon code. It's really easy to apply it. You just check the box and save $150. So before the coupon code it's going to cost you $1,250, but after it's going to cost you $1,100. Now for the price, I think it's a great PC for 1080p and 1440p gaming, since the RTX 4060 Ti is a really capable 1080p/1440p graphics card. So even if you want to play at 1440p, you will have no issues, as the performance is actually really solid at 1440p. The only thing with the 4060 Ti is the VRAM that this GPU has, which is 8 gigs. However, for popular games, GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, NBA 2K, all these type of titles, you will be just fine and there's no need to worry about it. With the next one, we have a $1,700 PC, which is much more expensive, but once again, you have a $150 coupon, so at the end, it's going to be $1,450, and it comes with the i5 12600K and the RTX 4070. Now this is a much better option for 1440p. The RTX 4070 comes with 12 gigs of VRAM, which will make a huge difference when talking about how games will look, especially, like I mentioned before, the AAA titles game. Also has better performance than the RTX 4060 Ti, both rasterized performance and ray tracing performance. And because you get the i5 12600K, you get a great CPU for content creation. So if you want to start your content creation journey, I would recommend you starting with this one, and also upgrading the RAM to 32 gigs if that's your case. But if you're going to do just gaming, 16 gigs of RAM will be fine. If you have more money, I recommend you upgrading to 32 because it's actually really cheap right now. But overall, this system is a great PC for 1440p, 1080p really high FPS as well, and also 4K depending on the game. There are a bunch of games that you can run at 4K 60 plus FPS on average with no issues. So I recommend you checking your favorite title run on a 4070 to see the estimated performance. With the next one for $1,800 after the $100 coupon code, we have the Chronos PC with the Ryzen 7 5800X and the RTX 4070 Ti. I currently have the 4070 Ti on my system, so if you want to see an estimate of how this PC is going to perform, you will have my video about the 4070 Ti benchmarks in the top right of the screen. However, let me tell you, the 4070 Ti is a beast of a 1440p GPU that you can also use for 4K gaming. For example, a game like Flight Simulator, which is really hard to run, I was able to run at 60 plus FPS on average on ultra 1440p settings in New York City. With the next one, we have a much more expensive system for around $3,000. I'm talking about the Velztorm Praetix gaming desktop. This one has the Ryzen 9 7900X3D, which is one of the best, if not the best, gaming CPU on the market, alongside the RX 7900 XTX, which is the second best graphics card on the whole market. You get 64 gigs of DDR5, 1TB of SSD, and 2TB of hard drive, alongside a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler, which is adequate for the Ryzen 9 7900X3D. And there's no game that you can't run at 4K on ultra settings with this system. Honestly, anything about this, I think it's overkill even at 4K, as crazy as it sounds. So this will be the limit in my opinion. Now, if you're willing to buy from other companies, I highly recommend you watching my video that I mentioned before, because you have a PC from HP that's around $3,100 and you get the RTX 4090, which is much better than the RX 7900 XTX, but I will talk about that in a second. So with the best one, we have this $3,860 PC, once again from Velztorm, but you get the i9 13900K and the RTX 4090. This is basically the best combo in my opinion in the whole market, because you get the best gaming performance, but you also get the best content creation one. So if you're searching for the best from both worlds, I think this one is the one to go with, but you're spending a ton of money. So you also get 32 gigs of RAM, which is really good, 1TB of SSD and 1TB of hard drive, alongside a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler and a 1000-watt power supply. Now, just like I said before, with the Omen 45L from HP, you are getting a PC for $3,150, so around $700 less expensive than the one that I've just mentioned, and you get the same i9 and RTX 4090. In my opinion, this is the best deal on the whole market, so I highly recommend you buying this one, especially if you're willing to buy outside Amazon. The only con on this PC is that you get 16 gigs of RAM instead of 32, but this has an easy fix, trust me guys. For around 50 to 80 bucks you can get those 32 gigs of RAM. From around 60 to, you have the bonus PC here that I mentioned before, the Empowered PC Stratos for $899, and you get the RTX 3070 and the i5 10400F. This i5 is a bit old, but trust me, with the RTX 3070 is completely fine, and having the RTX 3070 on a $900 system is actually pretty rare. I would say this is one of the best price to performance PCs on the market, but the reason why I didn't put it on this list is because of the airflow. It doesn't scream very good airflow, so if you want to take the risk and buy it, and then if it doesn't have enough airflow you will have to change the case, then that's completely fine, but that's mainly why I didn't put it here. So thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.